Mu kiseera kino omuntu avaayo okugamba nti mu ggwanga erya Uganda mulimu enkola eya demokrasiya oboolyawo y'abeera atamanyi kiki kigambo demokrasiya kye kitegeeza. Olw'ensonga nti olunaku olw'ejjo mu mbeera eyabadde yennyamiza era ng'ekwasa ennaku, mukyala wa Robert Kyagulanyi Ssentamu Barbie Itungo Kyagulanyi yavuddeyo n'annyonnyola era bw'atyo n'asiiga ekifaananyi ku bulumbaganyi obwamukoleddwako mu kiro eky'olunaku olwokutaano. Ssaawa zino tukimanyi bulungi nnyo nti no Robert Kyagulanyi Ssentamu aliira ku nsiko era yadduka mu maka ge ennaku z'omwezi nga 16 ng'amaze okulonda ennaku z'omwezi nga 15. Robert Kyagulanyi Ssentamu avuddeyo okunnyonnyola mu interviews ez'enjawulo nti baasobola okukitegeerako okuva mu sources eziri mu magye nti mutabani wa Gen. Yoweri Kaguta Museveni omuduumizi w'eggye ly'eggwanga erya Uganda Gen. Muhoozi yali awadde order Kyagulanyi abeere nga atuusibwako obulabe, n'olw'ensonga eyo ne kimuviirako okuba nga yadduka. Wabula mukyala we awamu n'abo ab'eŋŋanda ze nga kw'otadde n'abantu abalala be babeera nabo wali eri emaka mu Magere baasigala emabega. Kakati mu kiro ky'olunaku olwokutaano obulumbaganyi bwakolebwa. Mu maaso awo ŋŋenda kuba nkuwa katambi Barbie Itungo Kyagulanyi k'ayogereramu okuba nga atutegeeza biki bye yayiseemu, biki bye baamukoze, biki bye baatutte oba bye babbye, era okusinziira ku ye amaliriza ng'agamba nti abasajja abaabadde basoba mu 50 abayingidde mu maka ge awamu n'omwami we Robert Kyagulanyi Ssentamu baabadde batemu, baabadde babbi era baabadde bakkondo. Embeera mu kisaawe eky'ebyobufuzi eri mu kwongera okufuukira ddala enzibu. Wabula mu kiseera kye kimu ŋŋenda kuba nkuwa akatambi statement Robert Kyagulanyi Ssentamu Robert Kyagulanyi Ssentamu yasobodde okuba nga akola mu kiro ekikeeseza olunaku olwaleero oluvannyuma lw'okuba nga mukyala we Barbie Itungo Kyagulanyi yasobodde okunnyonnyola embeera nga bwe yabadde. Wabula njaga okutegeeza nti weesibe ebbiri tubeere nga tusobola okuyita mu vidiyo eno olw'ensonga nti mu zonna ze tukoze wano ku mukutu ogwa Point Media UG ate eno eyongera okulaga nti embeera mu kisaawe eky'ebyobufuzi mu ggwanga erya Uganda ddala si ya bwenkanya era waliwo ekikyamu ekiri mu kugenda mu maaso. Kakati njagala okukutegeeza nti mu statements zonna eziri mu kukolebwa okuva eri Robert Kyagulanyi Ssentamu Barbie Itungo Kyagulanyi awamu ne kw'abo ba eyewitnesses abaalabiddwako mu kiro ky'olunaku olwokutaano bavaayo nga basonga olunwe mu Gen. Muhoozi Kainerugaba oluvannyuma lw'okuba nga Gen. Muhoozi avuddeyo okutiisatiisa ku mukutu gwe ogwa X oba gwenza okuyita ogwa Twitter okubanga agenda kutuusa obulabe ku Robert Kyagulanyi Ssentamu era n'ategeeza nti ajja kukola buli kimu kyonna ekisoboka mu ngeri emu oba endala Kyagulanyi abeere ng'akwatibwa era asibwe, era n'ategeeza n'okutegeeza nti bagenda kumuyisa nga omuyeekera. Kakati olwa statements zino Gen. Muhoozi Kainerugaba zavuddeyo okukola, si Bobi Wine oba mukyala we Barbie Itungo Kyagulanyi awamu ne bannayuganda be bazitudde okuba nga ziri serious olw'ensonga nti ne munnamateeka wa Robert Kyagulanyi Ssentamu omusajja oyo amanyikiddwako nga Robert Amsterdam okuva wali eri mu ggwanga erya Bungereza, omu ku bannamateeka abagundiivu mu nsi yonna yavuddeyo n'awandiika ebbaluwa enkambwe ng'alabula Gen. Muhoozi awamu ne kitaawe Gen. Museveni. Tulabye ba senators basatu okuva mu gavumenti y'eggwanga erya Amerika nga bawandiika ebbaluwa era enkambwe nga basaba pulezidenti waabwe Donald Trump abeere nga ateeka envumbo ku Gen. Muhoozi olw'ebyo by'avuddeyo okukola awamu n'okuddamu okutunula mu nkolagana eri wakati w'eggwanga erya Uganda naddala ekituuka ku nsonga z'ebyokwerinda UPDF awamu ne gavumenti y'eggwanga erya Amerika. Kakati embeera eriwo mu kaseera kano n'ebeera nga eri mu kuleeta obunkenke bw'amaanyi obwenkaniddawo. Ekibuuzo kiri nti Gen. Muhoozi Kainerugaba olunaku olw'ejjo ye yasindise abasajja abayingidde mu maka ga Robert Kyagulanyi Ssentamu ne bakolayo effujjo lye baakoleddeyo ne ku mukyala wa Robert Kyagulanyi Ssentamu kennyini oba nedda. Wabula Leader of Opposition Joel Ssenyonyi yatutegeezaako nti we yatuukayo ku gate ya Robert Kyagulanyi Ssentamu mu kiro ky'olunaku olwokutaano abapoliisi abatera okuba nga beetooloola nga bali mu kukuumira Barbie Itungo Kyagulanyi under house arrest bo baamutegeeza nti baali tebamanyi ku nsonga za raid okuyingira mu maka ga Kyagulanyi era nga tebamanyi ani alina mu kukomandinga operation. Ekintu ekyalaga nti ekibinja ky'abakwatamundu abayingira oba abayingidde mu maka ga Kyagulanyi ne bakola obulumbaganyi ku mukyala we si beebo abapoliisi aba bulijjo abateekebwa okuba nga beetooloola ennyumba ya Kyagulanyi. Kakati bino byonna tugenda kuba tubikuba mu ttooki era tubeere nga tubitegeera bulungi nnyo. Wabula mu kiseera kyekimu ngenda kuba nsooka okuwa vidiyo nga vidiyo eno egambibwa okuba yeyinza okubaako ensonga lwaki amagye gaakoze obulumbaganyi ku nnyumba ya Robert Kyagulanyi Ssentamu. Babiitungo Kyagulanyi gye buvuddeko yakola interview yaweereza eddoboozi eri bannamawulire aba Al Jazeera ng'abannyonnyola obulabe General Muhoozi Kainerugaba bwali mu kusuubiza okutuusa ku bbaawe Robert Kyagulanyi Ssentamu. Eddoboozi lya Babiitungo lyabadde lyakateekebwayo ku mukutu gwa Al Jazeera obulumbaganyi we bwakoleddwa. Katusooke tuwulirize eddoboozi lino katono nnyo ate n'oluvannyuma tugenda kuba tukomawo ate okweyongerayo.
At around 10:30.
My husband is in hiding, of course, from the military and the police who are looking for him. And yes, we do not take lightly Uganda's Chief of Defense Forces, Muhoozi Kainerugaba's threats. As you may know by now, he makes sure to follow through the threats he makes on people. We recently had him brag about killing at least 22 people, and he added that my husband would be the 23rd. Those are not threats to take lightly. For example, we have Eddie Mutwe, who is my husband's personal bodyguard. Muhoozi threatened he would capture him and torture him. And Muhoozi followed through. He captured Eddie, he tortured him, and Muhoozi shared a naked picture of Eddie showing us that he actually had tortured him.
Kakati waliwo abali mu kugamba nti eddoboozi eryo liyinza okuba lyeryavuddeko kazaalabulwa okubanga amaka ga Robert Kyagulanyi Ssentamu gaayingiriddwamu era ne bakola obulumbaganyi ku mukyala we Babiitungo Kyagulanyi. Wabula information eyo taddakakasibwa, wabula ngezezzaako okulaba nga nkutuusaako eddoboozi eryo. Kakati nga tetunaba kuba nga tweyongerayo mu bubaka obulala bonna kubanga nga bwe nkutegeeza ngenda sooka nkutuuseeko statement ey'omukulembeze Robert Kyagulanyi Ssentamu ate oluvannyuma mbeere nga nkuwa n'obubaka obulala obwabadde buttotolwa okusinziira ku mbeera nga bwe yabaddewo era ng'obubaka obwo buva ewa Babiitungo Kyagulanyi. Okusookera ddala nanyagadde okuba nga nkubuuzaako osiibye otya osuza otya wonna wosinzidde okuba ng'ogoberera omukutu ogwa Point Media UG bulijjo. Tugenda kuba tukutuusaako biki ebitambula mu kisaawe eky'ebyobufuzi wano mu ggwanga erya Uganda. Gwe kyolina okukola subscribinga ku mukutu gusangibwa ku YouTube, teekako notification bell, likinga, sharinga ate commentinga, tubeere nga tutambulira wamu bulungi nnyo. Mu kiseera kyekimu njagala okujjukiza Hajati Nakalembe omusomi w'eddwa ono ng'asangibwa awo ne busaabala ku stage esembayo. Mutuukire ku nnamba eri noti 75237529 ajja kukolera ku kizibu kyonna ekiri mu kusumbwa ne oba ng'oli wabweru w'eggwanga erya Uganda, omukyalo ono agenda kuba akulombereddwa otereere ddala. Katusooke tufune akalangu ke katono nnyo te n'oluvannyuma tukomewo okugenda mu maaso.
Salamu alaikum. Hajati Nakalembe omusomi w'eddwa. Bw'oba wenyiye embeera embi yankusomere ku ddwa. Abali ebweru mirimu gigaanye papula zeesibye kino kyekyoto kwensabira omukisa kobe ng'oliriddawa wali wenkusabira n'ofuna emikisa. Ky'oba olabanga abirira ebinyonyi ebitalina kyakulya naawe atalina mulimu jangu kusomere ku ddwa ofuna omukisa. Eno ennyanja kwesira buli kimu ekisira ne kiba kikujjudde nekikasuka mu nnyanja nekikunta nekigenda. Nze Hajati Nakalembe kambawo ennamba yange yeeno 075377529. Temuddeeyo ne mwebakira ebizibu mukoye ku nnamba yange eno.
Awatali kumala budde bulala bonna katugende mu bubaka bwa Robert Kyagulanyi Ssentamu bwasobodde okuba ng'avaayo okututegeezaako nga bannayuganda mu kiro ekyakeeseza olunaku olwaleero oluvannyuma lw'ebyo ebyali mu bulumbaganyi obwaliwo mu kiro eky'Olwokutaano wiiki eno yennyini.
Fellow Ugandans and friends of Uganda all over the world, my name is Kyagulanyi Ssentamu Robert, also known as Bobi Wine, and today is the 24th of January 2026. It's exactly 8 days since I escaped from my own house following a raid that was carried out by the military and police at my home on the orders of Muhoozi, Museveni's son, and the Chief of Defense Forces. We had gotten earlier intelligence from our friends within the army that he had issued orders to his men to come and harm me. So when we saw them jumping over our fence on the night of 16th January, I somehow escaped from my home and left. That night they didn't enter into our house, they stopped in the compound. 3 days ago, they once again jumped into our fence, hurled profanities to my wife and threatened to break into my house. That was the second time. Now last night was the third time for them to raid us. They came in hundreds, according to my wife. They broke every door in our house, including those that were not locked. They took away all our documents, from academic documents, land title deeds, and all important documents. They took every gadget, phones, chargers, they took our internet system, they even took all the laptops, including children's school laptops. They also took away our CCTV camera system and destroyed anything that they could destroy, broke glass and cut even our chairs. They put my wife on gunpoint, demanding that she shows them where I was. They even forced her to remove the passwords from her phone and our laptops, but she refused. Well, these and many things that Museveni's regime is doing through his son and his other people are not signs of strength. These are signs of weakness. If Museveni claims that he won the election, why is he panicking? Why is he doing all manner of terrible things? Why is he harassing people? Why is he harassing me and my family? Those are signs of shame. Those are signs of illegitimacy. Now my message to you, fellow Ugandans, I am not in my home because I still want to be able to speak to you like I'm doing. I'm not in my home because my life is threatened. I take this opportunity, first of all, to thank the international community for the voices that they've raised, but to also encourage them to keep an eye on Uganda, especially at this critical time. To you, fellow Ugandans, this is our country. All this is being done to intimidate us. They've abducted 2 of my deputy presidents, Lina Zedriga and Jole Tukamshaba. We don't know where they are. They've arrested Mwanga Chivumi, my deputy president in charge of Buganda region, and many other comrades to sow fear in us. I encourage you to be strong, to be smart, to be creative. These people are not as strong as they purport, and indeed they are not as smart as they are. They failed to find me for 8 days. I also tell you that we must never give up. Uganda is our country and we must fight and liberate it. I will resurface at an appropriate time to forward our struggle. In the meantime, I'm not home because I'm trying to keep safe, I'm trying to keep alive, and I want to keep communicating to you. We shall overcome, we shall be free. People power, our power.
Oyo nno ye mukulembeze w'ekibiina ekya National Unity Platform atali mu maka ge, era ali mu kuliira ku nsiko ng'ali mu kwekweka abeere ng'obulamu bwe tebutuusibwako bulabe. Wabula obubaka Robert Kyagulanyi Ssentamu bw'ategeezezza bannayuganda, sembyeyo ng'abategeeza baleme kuggwaamu maanyi olw'ensonga nti asobodde okwekeeka ku basajja okumala ennaku eziwererako ddala 8, era nga ategeeza nti ajja kuvaayo mu kaseera akatuufu. Akaseera ako tukalindiridde okulaba kanaabeera ddi era tuli mu kulaba ki ekinaabeera nga kiddirira. Wabula nga sinaba kubanga ate nkuwa obubaka obwa Barbie Itungo Kyagulanyi, waliwo ke vidiyo kenyagala okusooka okulagako era nako ka Barbie Itungo Kyagulanyi, wabula nga muneeno yayogereddemu obubaka obugumya bbaawe era ng'amutegeeza nti yonna gy'ali gye yeekwese mu kaseera kano tageza n'avaayo ng'ensonga emuggyayo ye mukyala we. Ebigambo bino byayogereddwa Barbie Itungo Kyagulanyi kennyini. Kansooke nkuwulizisa akatambi kano ate n'oluvannyuma tubeere nga tutunulamuuko ku buzito bw'ebigambo mukyala wa Kyagulanyi byayogedde.
Mugumu, nze ndi mugumu. Bw'oba ng'olaba gy'oli nze ngenda okuggyayo, totawaana. Togeza, nsonga ndala ze ziba zikuggyayo gy'oli. Nga sinze. Nze ndi mugumu.
Barbie Itungo Kyagulanyi olunaku olw'ejjo yavuddeyo n'agamba bbaawe Robert Kyagulanyi Ssentamu nti yonna gy'ali ageza n'avaayo olw'ensonga nti ye mugumu era agenda kusigala ng'akyali ku mulamwa. Ebigambo ebyo biri mu kutegeeza Robert Kyagulanyi Ssentamu nti kyonna kyonna ekituukawo ye nga mukyala we agenda kubeera mugumu era ajja kuba ayita mu byonna byonna ebimutuusibwako. Kaakati katubeere nga tugenda mu katambi akalaga sitoori yonna yonna nga bwe yabadde, ebikyamu ebyakoleddwa era ebyatuusiddwa ku mukyala wa Robert Kyagulanyi Ssentamu.
At around 10:30, I had my dinner and closed the house because I am alone at home. The people that we live with in our home, each one of them retreated to their place of abode. So when I switched off the lights in my bedroom, I switched on my side bed light to read at least 2 pages of the book I was reading. Then our askari called me. He told me these men have broken again, but this time they are more in number and they are not in the same uniform as that group that normally comes. So he said there are many, just prepare. So I asked him where he was, and he told me he was in a safe place. Our place is a very big place. He was in a place where we pump water from. So I switched off the phone, switched on the lights, put away some phones, and then locked the bedroom. But then I saw that wasn't wise. I opened the door to the veranda to get at least a video, some evidence, because such a number, I knew when they come, they'll take away every kind of evidence. So I took a video and sent it to my son and told him, Solomon, these people are here, but this time it's a bigger number, it's a different group. He said, can I post this? I said, please post it. Then I called our other son. I call him son, but I called Dax. Dax is Bobby's younger brother. I called him and said, Dax, this is the end. He said, what do you mean? I said, these people are here. So I locked the bedroom and then I walked downstairs. They had already put ladders at the front of the house. On those stairs, they had put ladders and were climbing to come to the veranda of our bedroom. So I locked the bedroom and walked down. Then I went to the bathroom, the general bathroom downstairs, and I called one of our neighbors. Everyone I called actually picked up very fast. I told him, we are in trouble, please alert the neighborhood. In that moment, they started saying in Nyangore, Igura. Then I came out of the bathroom and came to the sitting room. They were in the windows. Every window that you see on that house had like 7 people peeping through it. They said, Igura. And I said, Tinkuzaku Igura. They literally meaning open. And I said, I'm not going to open. Then I sat on the stairs. And they broke the door, broke the windows. A swarm of men, big muscles, height so high, they looked the same. When I looked down, they had almost the same shoe size. That group is a group that is selected. You can see that they selected them according to height, to weight, to size, to color. And they belong from one tribe. They all swam in. At that moment, I looked down on the floor. Then I could see footsteps going to different directions of the house. Some going to the corridors, some going to the lounge, and some bypassed me on the stairs, and went upstairs. Now, in that moment, one of them came and told me, come and sit in the chair. I got off the stairs, I sat on the floor. Because in that moment, I wasn't sure my knees would allow me to stay in the chair. I sat on the floor. So he walked behind me, knelt behind me, and said, give me the phone. And I did this, I gave it to him. Then he said, remove the password. I said, I'm not removing the password. He said, in password. And I said, password Then he walked past me with the phone, went outside, talked to some people, came in with 4 men. Extra. Already the sitting room has more men standing, some with hammers. Each one of them was armed. I have never seen such firearms. New, fresh. So ignore the other like 40, 50 that were in the sitting room. He called in new people. They came. When they came, he went back behind me. I was wearing my husband's nightie because these days I was feeling like I can't wear my nightie. Something is going to happen in that night. So I was wearing a biker, and on top of it, I was wearing the nightie. So he held the trousers of the nightie and pulled me up. Then he held the shirt of the nightie from the back. He was using one arm. So he held it, then he brought the phone in front of me and said, remove the password. I said, I have told you I will not remove the password. The one that he came with held me in the neck here and lifted me off my feet in the neck like this. So when he lifted me, in self-defense, I kicked him because he was in front of me. So I kicked him in the groin, and then he walked away. This one pulled me, the buttons of my shirt broke, and he stayed with my shirt in his hands. Now, I just walked away from them and went and stood in one corner. But remember, this is a house full of men. Some looked away. Some were unbothered. One of them said in Lwagenda, Nedda mama muddize essata yambali. Then one of them held his hand and walked him out. One of them picked the shirt and said, put up your hands and I dress you up. I said, I can dress myself up, give me my shirt. Gave it to me, I put it on. Of course, the buttons were not on. And then I sat down. When I sat down, they lifted me again. Now, this time by these, because I play to these when I'm going to sleep. That same man held me by my hair, lifted me up. We have holes in the sitting room, and hit my head on the pole and slit my mouth. So when he hit me, he pulled me down and sat me down. Then he pushed my head and I went down, and they sat on me. I could feel 4 bodies seated on me. Then he said, will you give me the password? I said again in Unyankole, you have already done enough. You are not getting the password. There was someone who was like commanding them. He came in, he said, what's happening here? He said, leave her alone. Then they sat. Meanwhile, in that moment, they were already upstairs, creating havoc. The ones who were outside were beating our askari and the other boy that we lived with. Some other group was already in our helper's room, picking her up from her house. Now, they bring her, she's holding her cross and her Bible. She is new, she doesn't know anything. They ask her, where is the controller room of these cameras? She said, I am new, I don't know anything. They bring in the askari. They want to take him upstairs. He says, I have never gone that side. I don't know what's there. They ask him, where is the basement? And he said, I am new here. I know nothing like the basement. They ask him, where are the children? And he said, the children went for holidays after Christmas. Where did they go? And he said, I don't know. So in that moment, they were already picking the camera controllers. They were already picking the MiFi. They were already picking all the phones in the room. They took AirPods, chargers, power banks, hoofers, radios, anything electrical, laptops, everything. These people were drunk. The house was stinking. So in that moment I realized that it was not going to end. They took the girl out, they took the askari out, and then they started asking me, so you brought your brother to run on the Kampala MP seat. Did he win? You think you can just bring foreigners and bring them in Kampala and think they win? And then another one asked me and says, you got married to I don't know what they call a Muhoozi. What do they call a Muhoozi in English? A Muhoozi is like a traitor. It's like the worst person that there can be in the world. He said, you married that traitor of a Muganda. Were you not seeing the Manyakuri? In that moment, I think out of rage, I started feeling dizzy. I started feeling hot. I asked for water. They brought me water. Those same people gave me my water. I drank it. And then the next time I got to see myself, I was sleeping in a pool of vomit on the veranda outside. And they were gone. So it is the askari who drove me out and brought me here. In that whole mix, we still had the police, which has kept me under house arrest for 8 days. The other thing they kept asking me was, where is your husband? I told them I don't know where he is. They said, before we beat that round head of yours, where is your husband? I said, you can do whatever you like. I don't know where he is. They even asked the same thing to that guy. And he said, he went to vote, he came back the next day, I didn't see him because I work in the evening, so I don't know what time. That's how it was. But by the time they left, they had broken all the doors. They had broken all the windows. You'll see the pictures. They had pulled down the TV. They had caused havoc everywhere. Pulled my children's clothes out of wardrobes. Pulled beds out of the room. They had scratched the walls. They took anything that they felt was of value. So this group was a group of murderers. It was a group of thieves. They took all my phones and yeah. So, yeah.
Obubaka n'obwo bwe bwavudde ewa Barbie Itungo Kyagulanyi era embeera bw'etyo bwe yabadde. Kakati waliwo kavidiyo akaateereddwayo okwongera okulaga embeera gye baaleseemu amaka ga Kyagulanyi oluvannyuma lw'obulumbaganyi obwakoleddwa. Eryo nno ly'effujjo eryakoleddwa. Wabula mu kiseera kye kimu tufunyeeko we nakoledde akatambi kano twafunyeko obubaka nti era mu lweggulo Barbie Kyagulanyi Itungo yazzeemu okuzirika era nga muwadanku nnyingi eyabaddeyo ye yasobodde okuwa ku update ku mbeera nga we yabadde erabika.
Right now I'm at Zambia Hospital. I'm from visiting Barbie Itungo Kyagulanyi, the first lady, who was attacked last night when the military attacked or broke into the home of President Kyagulanyi Ssentamu Robert in Magere. Unfortunately, they didn't have any such warrant. They just broke into illegally, took whatever they could land on, as narrated by the first lady who was in, including gadgets, electrical gadgets, phones, among others. And very unfortunately, she was also tortured. From her narration, she was dragged on the floor, dragged by the hair, undressed, at least from top. Earlier when she addressed the media, it was as if she was regaining consciousness. But as I was still interacting with her, together with her hospital attendants, she collapsed again and collapsed again. I left them calling for medical attention and for other support, and bringing every kind of water, juice and what have you, and medication. I believe it is still too early to confirm the state of the first lady, Barbie Itungo Kyagulanyi. She is still in very critical condition. I think she regains consciousness for some moments and collapses again. Now this is very disturbing, because as we are interacting, she collapsed again. Now this is a very concerning development. At least I've witnessed it myself. I'm just in hospital, just the next floor up there, and it is very concerning. Pray for her. Pray for Ugandans in Uganda and wherever you are, and also friends of Uganda. Pray for her. Let's pray that God grants her a quick and full recovery. But as of now, I think it is too early to even assess the nature and her medical condition, because earlier she was okay. Now she has collapsed again. It is very, very concerning. But we condemn the reckless and illegal attack by the military, the breaking into of President Kyagulanyi's home and taking whatever item they landed on. Also, dismantling the infrastructure was uncalled for. If you have any issue that warranted a search, you would have come with a search warrant with the rightful persons, including LCs, and state what you would call a search. But that kind of attack was uncalled for, is illegal and unknown of in law. But as well, we believe this is intimidation. Unfortunately, I've also got concerns from neighbors that many of them abruptly landed into militias who had put roadblocks, and many were beaten. This is concerning. We condemn this, and for now, what is important, what is urgent, is to pray for the first lady, Barbie Itungo Kyagulanyi, to recover fully, and we pray that the doctors fully investigate to identify and find out the nature and extent of her medical condition and the appropriate medication. Otherwise, as we speak, I believe it is too early to even comment about her state, medical state, because she collapsed again. Yet earlier she addressed the media. This is very concerning.
Okay, embeera bw'etyo bwe yatambudde mu kiro ekikeeseza olunaku olwaleero. Updates zasobodde okuba nga ziweebwa, era nga okusaba nga Honorable Muwadanku nnyingi bw'ategeezezza kwetaagisa, olw'ensonga nti embeera Barbie Itungo Kyagulanyi gye yayisiddwamu baamukutte nga atali muntu. Byonna tubiwulidde, sigenda kuba nga mbiddamu. Wabula kambeere nga nkwerekereza, mwebali nnyo, mwebeere ddala abasobodde okutambula naffe bulijjo wano ku mukutu ogwa Point Media UG, wogenda okujja updates ku nsonga ez'enjawulo nga bwe zitambula. Kambeerekereze mubeere bulungi era mweraba.